A government report into smoking that recommends a series of curbs to make Britain smoke-free by 2030. So they've got a whole raft of suggestions, including raising the legal age to... Excuse me, Judi.
Hello? That's
that was her chair, by the way. Including raising the legal age to buy cigarettes each year so that eventually nobody can buy them, banning the sale of cigarettes in supermarkets and online, and stopping people from smoking in nearly all public places. So it's a whole bunch of stuff to basically make us smoke-free. Do you think it's going to work, Jane, finally get rid of cigarettes?
Well, it would be a nice thought, wouldn't it? Because ultimately, I'm never really a fan of banning anything. I do believe in choice, but do you choose to get addicted to cigarettes? No, I don't think you do. And I quite like, even though my initial thing was like, under 21, well, you know, they should be able to do what they want. But this is all about not getting kids hooked onto a product that then becomes a lifelong addiction, isn't it, really? So it's only a good thing. Yeah. My worry then is that what's happened now is that a lot of the tobacco companies they've moved that potential for addiction from cigarettes to vaping. Yeah. So now we have this huge vaping market worldwide. And if you look at vaping adverts, it's all kids being cool, you know, it's like sort of... It's like a sort of a smartphone advert, you know, colours and music and young people and you know, yes, they're not as harmful as cigarettes, but isn't it just better to just not have anybody addicted
to nicotine? Well, the thing is, it's been kind of caught in the middle, hasn't it? Because as we have progressively been trying to get rid of cigarettes, which has been going on now for more than 20 years, trying to get rid of cigarettes, e-cigarettes were introduced as a way of getting those smokers off of cigarettes into something less harmful. And the NHS still says they can be effective for getting people off cigarettes, but there doesn't seem to be an awful lot of regulation in that sort of world. And as you say, Jane, it's just exploded.
I mean, if you look at that, right, so 2016, the worldwide e-cigarette and vape market was $3 billion. 2020, $15 billion.
And growing. Yeah.
And growing.
I mean, I loved smoking so much. It was like a bad boy lover that I kept trying to leave, but then I kept getting drawn back to him. I tried to give up so many times. I did everything. I spent a fortune, hypnotised, everything. It is such an addictive thing. You know, Mark gave up alcohol and the last thing he actually managed to give up was smoking, because it's more difficult than giving up alcohol. And so anything that helps us not become addicted to an extremely dangerous, I think, is good. And I don't think it's about freedom of choice. Like you say, Jane, it's about these companies pushing a highly addictive, very dangerous drug.
Well, that's what Sir Chris Whitty has said, and he's very clear about it. You know, he says that the cigarette industry will make this a debate between health and freedom, but it's a dishonest debate.
It is a dishonest debate.
You know, these kids at a young age, you know, they become addicted at a young age. It's not really freedom of choice.
But what's so dishonest about it is very quietly at the back is becoming the vape, like it's an epidemic. My children tell me about what the actual vaping situation is with kids. They're vaping it in school, they're vaping everywhere they can. No, both my daughters have said they've never been in a newsagents where somebody has refused to sell a vape. Why does a vape need to be candy-flavoured, bubblegum flavoured, blueberry flavoured?
And they're almost ending up having more nicotine than if they're, you know, because obviously you can do it all sorts of places now that you can't smoke.
Well, they know within their groups, they know kids.
They are less, they haven't got the carcinogens,
They know kids that have passed out from the amount, because these little bar things that they put into they hold 500 puffs of a cigarette. And my girls were saying sometimes in an evening they will get through multiple bars, these kids. Now, the thing is, it doesn't taste disgusting. And like the girls were saying, what happens is everybody's sitting around and it becomes almost a game. Blowing rings, and they're taking in so much nicotine, which is bad for the brain, bad for the lungs, as we know. The other thing that really worries me about this vaping is because it's socially acceptable, I think parents vape in front of their children in a way that they just wouldn't.
But it's been marketed as not harmful, but it has still got nicotine in it. But look here, you know, last year, 7% of 11 to 15-year-olds have vaped.
So
that's becoming, and then the 30%, by the time they get to 18, it's 30%. So those figures are only going to go
But it's a lot more
There's
than that.
just something in us that wants to get addicted, isn't it,
I
to
think
something?
the issue, look, with anything where they're trying to curb, you know, whether it's health, whether it's financial issues, and now it's the smoking, it's good that we're seeing that there's issues and they're addressing it. But I feel like now with this smoking, like you're saying when it comes to vaping, that it's been advertised in a way that it looks fun, it looks
cool.
exciting, it's cool.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed from people I know who stopped smoking and gone to vaping, that addiction to smoking, they're now just addicted to the vape. And I'm not necessarily talking about the smoking of it, but what colour vape they're having, what different flavours they're getting. So we are just passing the buck when it comes to addiction and not dealing with actually the foundation of why people are getting addicted to these things.
I think it should go on prescription for a short amount of time. And the only way I gave up smoking in the end was to have cessation therapy, which is to actually understand why I was smoking. I was using it.
Exactly.
So a lot of people watching this would then say, where does that end? Because alcohol can be addictive. So do we then also, you know, stop people from drinking alcohol until they're 25?
Well, we give very clear guidance on alcohol, don't we, in terms of the age,
well, guidance needs to be on the vape as well.
Well, minimum age of a vape is 18.
But like Nadia says, how often is it enforced? Whereas we're very strict in terms of trying to enforce alcohol. And also we know how much alcohol is safe and is not. I have no idea how many vapes are safe. Do these kids know how many bars are safe? I have no idea.